Benjamin Franklin once said, nothing in life can be certain except death and taxes. But if you're a Chelsea fan, you're probably adding transfers to that line as well, because my friends, I'll be discussing the big rumors and potential recruitment news for the next few windows. So sit back, relax, and let's discuss today's latest reports. We start things with the first story, and we go to our favorite club in Bayern Munich to discuss news around Nicolas Jackson and Michael Olise. But to start with things, Olise is a very popular player right now, and reports from Sport Builder suggest that Premier League giants such as Liverpool, Man City, and even us have been included there for some reason, are all potentially looking at bringing Olise back to the Premier League. At the moment, the only Olise we have at Chelsea is his younger brother in Richards. I still don't know how we never bagged him, but I'm not going to get into that right now. You guys know my thoughts and opinions on that. But as we know, Liverpool are looking for a long-term successor to Mohamed Salah, and Man City are always in the business to sign world-class players to add to their attack because they're in the business of winning trophies right now. Bayern Munich respect the fact that he has a lot of interest in him from Premier League clubs, and at the moment their plan is to try and give him a new contract extension, taking his existing deal to 2031. Now he's on serious money. I think his annual base salary is 12 million euros, as it says here, and he gets bonuses on top. But they're also paying Harry Kane 24 million euros a year, so Olise could probably expect to earn a bit more if he stays at Bayern, and honestly, I can't see why he wouldn't. Now, he is Max Eberl's, of course, best piece of business. And let's keep things real. Bayern Munich have put him on the map in the sense that he's now become a world-renowned name. He's become one of the big world-class players after making that move from Crystal Palace. And if you're Bayern, I feel pretty confident that Olise remains there for the next few years at least. He currently has a market valuation of around 100 million euros, which means that if you want to sign him, you're looking at Wharton and Isak figures right now. Thank you, Liverpool, for inflating the markets of ridiculous levels, but that's the type of money you probably have to fork out, which means that that's us out the window. That's like our entire net budget to sign like 5-6 players. And let's not even get it twisted, we aren't paying those wages, yeah? But Cole Palmer isn't even hitting 200 bags a week yet, which, listen, he could be earning that easily if he was at any other big club. There's no way but coughing them funds up for Olise. So let's keep it humble. Let's keep it real. If you guys was expecting me to try and gas the story, I'm sorry. You came to the wrong guy today. But let's watch your space. But, you know, for me, players don't get tired of Bayern Munich, they get tired of the Bundesliga. And I guarantee once he's won a few, silverwares and honors and titles there, he'll probably come back to the Premier League at some point when he peaks at 27, 28. So listen, let's watch the space. Let's see what happens. You never know. Who knows, in the next few years, do we decide to maybe change our policy up a little bit? It would be quite nice. But anyway, moving on, we have some interesting news surrounding Nicolas Jackson. Now, last night, Nico finally scored his first goals for Bayern Munich and got his, I think, another assist by assisting Olise, actually. And reports are suggesting from Mr. Bailey that Bayern have already decided to make their decision on Nico Jackson to turn his loan into a permanent move. Now, recently, their owner criticized the buy of Nick Voltemada to Newcastle because that was money that was crazy, in their opinion, and it was overpriced and overvalued, and Bayern won't do that. But Bayern see the value in Nicolas Jackson, and to be fair, listen, the loan fee is quite high, 100%. But I think overall, if you're signing someone like Nico, who will still cost you less than Nick Voltemada, considering like his pedigree at the moment, I don't think that's bad. That's around 56 million. That seems pretty fair, in my opinion. But let's hope that Nicolas Jackson's season continues to go well, because that guarantees us 56 million at the end of this window, and he can only learn under Harry Kane and can only learn and develop his game. I think Nico, when he's like 27, 28, 29, we'll be seeing this guy differently, 100%. He started the game very late. I back this guy's potential and ability to even be at this level, considering, his experience isn't as high. It tells you a lot about his innate natural abilities. I think they can get crafted more in an easier league like the Bundesliga, alongside world-class players too. So let's watch this space right here. As Graham Bailey says, Bayern Munich have been delighted with Jackson's arrival at the moment, and they're impressed after their first meetings with him. His commitment to come, which saw the player and agent sacrifice money, with Nicolas Jackson's agent, renouncing his agent fees to get this deal over the line, obviously was seen in very favourable light to Bayern Munich, because in Germany, the directors and owners actually believe in like a gentleman's game and gentlemen's agreements and principles. So that's not going to be ignored. All parties acknowledge the obligation will likely not be met. Also, given that Jackson is due at the AFCON, but their commitment is solid. I'm told it would take a major change of circumstances for Jackson not to join Bayern Munich permanently. So that is promising news. So that is everything surrounding Bayern Munich. But now let's discuss other reports coming out today, my friends. And we have some really interesting stories to get through. For the next story, we're going to discuss a young midfield player who plays as a DM, and in my opinion, kind of plays like the Spanish Adam Wharton role. And his name is Mikel Jauregizar. And at the moment, reports suggest that we are monitoring the player, we're scouting him, and we're seeing him as maybe a potential option for the future. That's not even January window or next summer, but maybe in the 2027 window. Now, it comes from the journalist and Aaron Ramiro, and he was the first one to break this story. As he says, Chelsea initiate talks to sign Athletic Bilbao's rising star and Jauregizar for the 26-27 season. Now, Jauregizar, I think, is around 21 years old. He plays a role in Spain that's known as the Ritmo role, where essentially you're the first receiver from the defense. You're the one who kickstarts the first phase. You're the pre-assist type of player. That's just like the easier, simplified way to see things. And maybe the club feel like that's an option that we need to have. You have to always adapt to the football landscape, right? And I just think in the Premier League right now, I just think, in my opinion, you guys, the pressing is just too mad. To the point where I think at times, for myself, it makes games not as enjoyable right now, because it's a case of like diminishing returns that you're seeing on a weekly basis. All the positional play stuff feels slightly redundant a tiny bit, considering that players these days are so fit to close down spaces for fun. It's ridiculous how quickly they can do that now and how long they can do it for. So the landscape will have to evolve at times. Another club thinking we need to add this type of profile to the squad. Someone that can maybe help give us more qualities in terms of first phase play and kick-starting attacks. Now, in my opinion, it's a bit mad that we're even looking at a player like this, considering we have Enzo Fernandez. I thought originally, when he was once the Jauregizar at 21 years old that we signed from Benfica, he was supposed to be that guy in midfield. We saw him look pretty decent in that role. And I'll never forget his performance against Liverpool in the first game of Pochettino's season. That was, for me, prime Enzo Fernandez that I thought we'd see a lot more of. Now, the guy is complete. He's box to box, and I'm just hoping that his box to box qualities can match his second phase qualities as well. I'm hoping we see that perfect condition created for him. But in the meantime, you look at the rest of our midfield, and I think there's a reality that we have to accept. It looks like at the moment, to buy players, we'll have to sell, and we're going to continue this player trading thing. So when you look at players like Santos and Asugo and Lavia and everyone else, who's to say their shelf life is that long? I mean, we thought Nico might be here for a longer time, and he was out in like 2 years. So no one is safe. If the club can find another deal and just continue this player trading to death. So Jauregizar, interesting player, high defensive work rate, really good shooting outside the box, and quite intelligent in terms of playing the first pass as well. So that's a player to watch out for. Share your thoughts and opinions on him. But now, my friends, let's discuss one of the big rumors that's come out today, actually, and that involves Adam Wharton. My friends, we have some interesting reports involving a long-term target in Adam Wharton. Yet again, it comes from journalist Aaron Ramiro, and as he says, we have made inquiries with Crystal Palace regarding a potential transfer for Wharton. At the moment, it seems like Palace have slapped on a €105 million valuation. I think that's like, what, maybe 85, 90 million pounds, something like that. And at the moment, he's really impressing. I mean, I've really liked this, the midfield performance against Liverpool between Wharton and Kamada. I've always liked Kamada since his days at Frankfurt. He's clocked the Prem now, and he seems to be like a really intelligent type of, just like, bear with me, but like, that type of like Pedri, Frankie de Jong type of pivot where, listen, they work hard, but they can move the ball, right? But I'm not going to get into that right now. Adam Wharton, whoever wants him, you're going to pay big money. And it's not just the valuation that Palace want. It's the moment that this guy becomes available in the market, every big club is going to make moves. We're seeing reports of even Real Madrid's casting an eye right now. Man City, I've always thought he'd be the perfect Rodri successor. Liverpool could probably do with something like him where, listen, they've invested all their money into your Ekitike's and Isaks, etc., but the balance that all of us had question marks on is getting exposed right now at Liverpool. Yeah, you can get goals against them. They're vulnerable. Palace created so many chances against them last week. They need a balance, and Wharton could provide something like that. And for ourselves, I can't help but think, what would it be like with Wharton and Caicedo together in a pivot? That could be pretty exceptional. Maybe that allows you to just have Cole Palmer traditionally playing as an attacking mids, Esteval right inside, Kender on the left, and of course whoever's playing up front. I think when you have a midfield who is that dominant in duels, winning possession back, breaking the play, and they can both kickstart attacks as well, I think that could be long-term a really interesting midfield if you're looking to re-strategize by having the attacking players being the focus. Outside of Palmer and Estevals and all the wingers we have right now, we have guys like Paez on loan as well. There's other attacking players that will probably come through at some point. It's interesting, are we going to see some evolutions? And I really focusing on evolutions. I'm bringing up this talking point, which I want you guys to get involved with in the comment section, because in this game, you have to always adapt and you have to always be ahead of the curve and be ahead of the meta. And long term, are we going to be a team where maybe you're going to have box crashing from Enzo Fernandez and another mids and inverted fullbacks forever? Like, realistically, is that going to be the game plan forever? Like, everyone adapts. Look at Guardiola. Look how often he's adapted over his career. Look at Sir Alex Ferguson, the famous examples. Slot, you can go on. That's what managers have to do. And if we're looking at players for the next window and for 2027, yeah, that tells me that maybe there could be possible changes being made. Now, I can't help but think Wharton and Caicedo, bro, listen, we're all thinking the same thing. But when you make things like that happen, you're making big executive decisions because, yeah, we have a bit of money to play with after not spending nothing in January. I think our books probably clear up a few more things as well. Yeah, we could probably fund a move or two, you know what I mean? But I think when you make statement signings like Wharton, it also does communicate that maybe you might be selling a big player too. If Lavia continues to have fitness issues again this season, do the club decide to try and cash in on him? I don't know how we get the money back, but is that a possibility? Could Real Madrid buy Enzo Fernandez? Does the club think, listen, we love Enzo, he's a great player, but maybe we have different ideas now because of Esteval and Palmer and, other players like this, where maybe the game plan now is to have more of another enforcer in midfield to allow the attack to breathe, compared to having a midfield player there. I always thought it was quite interesting that we looked at guys like Xavi Simons and Kudus, and yes, we know that Palmer's been injured and he would have helped, but in the long term, you're not going to have players like this on the bench with Cole Palmer. Realistically, you might be thinking about using these guys together, right? And could that be long term something better for us to help find possibilities between the lines? I'm just saying things so we can have a conversation and think about the unknown. to try and think about what the club might be thinking. Because these Wharton links, listen, most times I've seen links, I remember the famous one, Moses Caicedo, when he was back home in Ecuador, when no one even knew the club or anything about him. Yeah, he's playing for us right now. I cover these stories so much. I remember them maybe more than you guys, because I do. You get surprised how often links like this materialize into something. I'm not saying we're guaranteed to get Wharton, but there's been so much talk around him that could the club decide to maybe sacrifice someone big in midfield to have him part of our squad, because they don't want to see him anywhere else. You guys, share your thoughts and opinions on how you're feeling around that. But I think the guy's an exceptional player, and I guess we'll wait to see what really happens. So right now, we end things with the final rumor coming out today, and that involves Nico Paz of Lake Como. Did I say Lake Como? Sorry, you guys. You know that I was in Como last year for my sister's wedding. So yeah, I'm still making the mistakes, I guess. But anyway, we have some interesting reports coming out from Spain. And they suggest that we are interested in Nico Paz from Como. Now, I guess it doesn't surprise me as much. We're in the market, well, I can imagine us to be in the market for an attacking mid. Unless Buenorte smashes it out the park and we sign him on a permanent. I think that we could be in the business, maybe sign someone big there in the future. And Nico Paz could be an interesting player. Now, Spurs tried for him in the window, got rejected, because at the moment, if you guys are unaware, he's likely, or he's destined to go back to Real Madrid, because they can exercise the buyback fee of 8 to 10 million. You know, I love when Madrid do that. I wish we did business like this a bit more as well. Put them in an environment where they can learn growing, have their skill set harnessed, then you buy them back for nothing. You're basically paying for a club to loan your best player to. I like that type of business and that type of development. But yeah, Nico Paz going back to Madrid, it's destined. But a part of me has always thought, I mean, you go to Madrid, this is going to be a bit techie for you. You got Arda Güler, who looks like under Xabi Alonso, that is going to be his guy right now. They didn't make a move for Wirtz because they're like, you know what, we have Güler, he can be just as good, if not even better. Of course, interesting things around maybe Valverde. Could Madrid possibly look to cash in on him? Now that he's not playing more of like a box-to-box type of role, you know, his other skill sets in his games do get exposed. And he does get criticized quite a bit by Madrid fans. Could Paz be the guy to replace him in the long term? Who knows? But at the moment, of course, you know, Madrid have superstars in their team. And it'll be very hard for Paz to try and get that weekly game time that he'd probably want. So is there a possibility to maybe have a few conversations behind the scenes? At least express your interest. Put a few feelers out here, a few feelers out there, just to try and gauge what the agent's saying, what the club's saying, how the player's feeling, because who knows what the situation says in the future, right? I just make this point to try and understand the reports, because a lot of times when I cover these stories, the patterns I notice are the positions we look at and the profiles we look at. And you always see the key common pattern and denominator behind who exactly we're looking towards. So for me, it would not surprise me that we see reinforcement in the attacking mid area. I do really feel that Maresca really wanted to have that profile in the team. And listen, we're still struggling against teams with low blocks. We aren't there yet. Is the only way to get past that adding some of the right players to the team? You know, Paz, guy's got great match-winning ability. He's got great finishing, great shooting outside the box. He plays really fast 1-2s, unpredictable play. He has the qualities that could make him a star at a big team. You're seeing it on screen yourself, what you can do on the ball, right? So let's watch this space. Let's see what happens. But right now, I'm going to bounce, keep things moving. And I'm going to catch you guys with more videos tomorrow. Tomorrow, I want to discuss what is going on with Jamie Gittins. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Love. And I'll see you guys. Cool.